Welcome back, Stack Attack Squad, to the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast, your one-stop shop to dominate fantasy baseball and football. Come get some.
New intro music. Who dis? It's the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Trella, and with me, as always, let's see if I point the right direction. My brother from another mother, it's Trey. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you today, my dude?
What's going on, bro? Good to be back.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a year. It's been a heck of a couple of weeks. I've had quite a bit going on with work, family, sickness myself. I don't have COVID, but I've been sick the last 2 weeks or so. So a lot going on. So it's nice to get back on the mic, kind of put football behind us and push forward with some baseball. But what's up with you, man? How you doing?
Just living the dream. It's beginning of January. I think I'm like 15 drafts in already. I do have one issue I'm dealing with here that I haven't told anybody yet, but I want to say it on air right now. I'm
Big reveal.
I'm addicted to best ball. I just can't keep on. I keep on wanting to do it. Like
I'm in five actual news.
No, I have 5 going right now.
Boo.
My wife probably thinks I have a girlfriend.
5.
So I'm on the phone. 5 right this second.
5.
I'll be picking all the time, but I got 4 already complete.
That's hardly a problem.
No,
it is January. Right? It is early January, so all right.
Some of those guys that you can hit on real easy right now when their ADP is going to be going up once they get to spring. So, early bird gets the worm.
Right. Well, like you said, we're 11 drafts in. We just actually finished up a couple of days ago. We finished up with Chris Clegg and the guys from a couple of guys from Fantrax with a dynasty startup that was absolute mayhem.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was fun, man.
Yeah.
We did this, Nick. We did this auction, and there was 42 players on the clock at all times, and it was just absolute mayhem. I mean, there was an 8-hour clock, but there were so many players that would go to like 7 hours and 58 minutes, and then somebody would bid you, and it was like absolute mayhem, and you'd lose your mind. And then
I bet.
Then the clock went back to like 4 hours or something like that. And we're actually doing another one with Clegg again, and Eric Cross is going to be in that one too, and that one's starting up in a couple of days.
I've already challenged him on taking Kelnick too, so that's going to be good. Yeah,
we actually got Kelnick in that. It was an auction where it was a 40-man roster, $400, and you could spend it how you wanted. You didn't have to take prospects, nothing like that. It was build your roster the way you want. And we did not go heavy on anybody. I mean, Soda went for, I think, $106 or something like that out of 400. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It felt like a football auction. But we ended up, I think our highest player was maybe Lindor or something like that. We had 4 players in the 30s, right? No, it was Wheeler, I think. Wheeler, we paid a couple bucks more. But we, instead of spending 100 on 1, we spent 120 on 4. So it worked out pretty good, and we did end up with Kelnick. Yeah. But anyway, Nick, what's good with you, man? How you doing up in the top left corner over there?
Doing very well. Football's done.
Yeah.
Moving on.
You had a pretty good season, didn't you?
I did. Made the semifinals in the fishbowl. So did pretty well there. Raz quarterfinals, Warrior Bowl quarterfinals. Won a ton of home leagues. Shocker. It's nice. But a lot of money. Wife's very happy about that because we have a lot of expenses to come up.
Yep. I hear you there.
I didn't announce it in the last pod, but we have twins on the way, twin girls. I'm going to be a father of 3 girls.
Oh my God.
So 2 of everything. Minivans already in the garage.
Godspeed to you, my friend.
If anybody I know saw the gender reveal video, which I think both of you did, my head just dropped when I realized.
Yeah, we didn't want to comment on that because it was it was a revealing reveal, to say the least.
So it's a whole house full of girls, and basically on that note, we're going to be looking for another person for this podcast coming in May because Nick will not be around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 3 girls, and the cross street has 3 girls. So this whole block is going to be, we're going to gate it. It's going to be a gated community. We're going to not allow anybody in here. Give me one of those.
You go. Yeah, I know. You got to do it nowadays, man. It's crazy. Bubble. Make the bubble. All right.
That's
All
it.
right. So today we're gonna kick off some baseball talk a little bit earlier than we did last year. But Andy's been at it for a couple of months already. I got into baseball about 3-4 weeks ago. Once basically once Derrick Henry got hurt, it was a wrap for me across the board. And I'm like, yeah, I think it's baseball season at this point. So we're ready to go. We've done a couple of Andy and I do a lot of draft champions leagues on the NFBC together. I think we've done 3 already, maybe 4. Yep. A couple of dynasty startups. So we're kind of keen to the ADP. So we want to just kind of talk about a few outliers that we've seen so far that may help or be a red flag, stay away for your draft. So Andy, let's start with third base a little bit. All right. What's the word on the street with third base this year overall globally, Andy?
They're basically saying that it's a pretty weak position, and that if you're have an early pick, Ramirez is definitely a good option there because a lot of the other positions don't fall off as quickly as third base does.
Right. I don't really. That hasn't really been my experience, and I feel like if you trust the board a little bit, and you're not too alarmist of recency bias with what happened last year, you could do pretty well at the back end of the third baseman number ones, the 10th through 15th or anything like that. But so are you drafting Jose Ramirez or Rafael Devers? Ramirez is going in the first round, Devers basically in the second round.
I've been getting Devers early in the second round. I've been taking him, and I like it. I think there's actually more to him too. I think he can improve. But other than that, obviously drafting with you, I get a lot. Chris Bryant, obviously, he's a nice little value right now. So,
well, the wild card with that is he's still a free agent at this point, so we have to wait for a landing spot there. He might actually, I mean, he'll hold the eligibility of third base, but he may actually. There's a strong chance he goes to a team where he's going to be an outfielder or even possibly a first baseman. That's a strong possibility. So we may actually weaken the field a little bit. But I mean, my opening spot with third base, it kind of starts at ADP of 95, which is pretty damn late, and that's why I like it. But how do you not like Alex Bregman? Like, what is it really that everybody thinks he's a cheater? Is that what this is? I mean, he's had 2 down years in a row. I see that. One was a shortened season, and last year he had 2 months that he missed with hamstring issues. Last year he had the lowest launch angle of his career. Maybe he was trying to account for something. Maybe there's something there with the banging on a drum that doesn't know what's coming, so the launch angle is lower because he's trying to make contact rather than jank it. But he's one of the best at baseball and not striking out, and that's a key statistic for me, and I know it is for you too, Andy. So I'm buying in on a former first round pick who's only 27 years old. I can't get off that. Like that's a spot to go in like the 8th, 9th round. How do you not do that, Andy?
I'm always been a fan of him. They weren't hitting the garbage cans in the minor leagues when he tore it up, and he was one of the best players coming up through the minor leagues. So I'm a fan of him. I think he's had some unlucky injuries that have stopped the progression, but I think he could be a nice little value now.
All right. So he's actually going 2 spots after our favorite guy, Adalberto Mondesi. So are you guys going back to that?
I gotta go. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Show's over.
Almost fell off the chair.
Show's over.
We can't talk about him on the show.
We can't talk about Bruno.
I get that reference now.
I knew you two guys you got young kids, man. My kids are in their 20s, and I still know that.
We've watched Moana, I want to say 15 times in the last week.
It's not Moana, but whatever. Close enough.
I know. It's Encanto. I know. We've just been watching Disney Plus like crazy now.
All right. So Mondesi, is this just a cross off because you got screwed? Or are we just done with him and just finally gonna buy into what I said, that he's never gonna be healthy.
All right, so he's in my third baseman guys I wanted to touch on, and he was a guy I was obviously avoiding. He's got an ADP right now of 55. It said 55. All right.
Yep.
Yep. He hasn't played. He played 102 games once in his career. The second time is 75. He hasn't played. He is not on the field. It's not worth the pick. It's too much of a risk. He's got like 5 years in the major leagues. You know, it's horrible. I gotta stay away. His hit tool is horrible. His speed is something, you know, that you can dream about, but you can't steal first base. You also have to realize that the Royals have a tremendous glut in the infield too, so that could cause him to lose at bats if he struggles, which he will.
Andy, we started this podcast just as friends, trying to shoot the shit a little bit and have a good time. Are you aware that everything you just said came out of my mouth 365 days ago, and you went on to draft this man in the first round of TGFBI?
All right, moving on to the next player, I would like to talk about. Yeah,
he did. He did.
At least I learned from my mistakes.
All right, so let's move on. So
I can't wait for him to draft him this year. It's gonna be great.
It's not.
Yeah. So what about DJ LeMahieu? DJ LeMahieu right now is the 10th third baseman off the board. Definitely had a down season, which Nick felt the heat from last year. You were over-invested in him last year, right?
I loved him last year. He was fantastic with the Yankees the year before and just fell off the cliff last year. I mean, I'm still in on him, but that hurt.
Right. He's 33 years old, so you know maybe the beginning of the end is here. That's something to be concerned about. Andy, what's your opinion on LeMahieu?
Are you blaming it on injuries? Was he injured a lot last year, Nick? Because a lot of Yankee fans are saying that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they also 2 years ago they also changed the ball around too. So had a little. He was hitting the ball better last year. They stopped that and they're changing the ball around, and that's why he struggled a little bit. His little pop out to right field that was going over the fence wasn't going there. So I think we've seen the best of him. At the right price, if he drops, I'll take him because he can play 3 different positions. But I'm not gonna waste a top 100 pick on him.
Right. Right now his ADP is about 115, but he's going 5 spots after one of my favorite guys, which is Anthony Rendon.
That's a guy. I'd rather buy him.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's look at Rendon real quick. So he had, these are the injuries he's had last year: hamstring, hip impingement, tricep strain, left knee contusion, and a groin. He basically covered the whole human anatomy, some way, shape, or form. He's 31 years old, so he's a little bit older than Bregman is. That's probably 31 is considered the back end of your peak years for a young hitter. But 2018 to 2022, this guy was an MVP candidate. He had an expected weighted on base average of 383, 388, and 414 in those 3 years. And he was just a dude, man. Now he's hitting behind Ohtani, Trout, and probably Jared Walsh, and he'll probably bat 4th. That's just my guess at this point. What's not to love about this? I mean, he doesn't run. I'll give you that. But everything else is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. I love him at this price. I'd rather take him over LeMahieu.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy. So I think if you're drafting around that, just outside of the top 100, and you get Rendon, you're in great shape. Obviously, yes, there are injury concerns. You're gonna have to use a bench spot on a third baseman at some point. But we're gonna take a pass at LeMahieu and then maybe drop down. I know you like Brian Hayes. He's being drafted as a back end third base one as well. Does different things though, right?
Yeah, he could do a little bit of everything. I think Rendon has a more higher ceiling, but I think Hayes was hurt last year. He had a wrist injury, which caused him to struggle a little bit. The year before, he was amazing, and I fell in love with him. I liked him even before that, but his on-base percentage and the way he was hitting the ball, I was a big fan of him. And a guy that's like right near him too, that I think that could rebound and has a really high ceiling is Moncada. I've been getting a couple of shares of him this year. I think he struggled a little bit last year, and I think that at this price right now, it's a nice little value.
All right, I can't argue with that one. Moncada is one of my guys, so I'm in on that too. After that, you drop down the very back end. If you're in a 15-team league, you feel okay with Ryan McMahon as your third baseman.
That's my cousin. Yeah, of course. I like him. I think he had bad. He struggled a little bit last year, but playing in that park, you can't pass him up.
Right, and he's going a full 2 rounds after Moncada at an ADP of 177. See, that's the thing is everybody says there's such a huge fall off, but this is still talented fantasy ball players here, and we're through 15 players, and there's nearly 10 guys that I'm more than happy to have as my third baseman number 1. So I think that the lack of depth that they're talking about, all the pundits that are breaking down these early ADPs, I don't think they're right. I think it lacks star power, but I think there's enough depth there to kind of put the position not as a premium. And I'm probably not going to have too many Jose Ramirez shares for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then next round later is Matt Chapman.
Future Yankee.
Definitely.
Yankee
I've been going outside of the top 200. Eugenio Suarez has burned the hell out of me. If you're in a league with a 5x5 league with batting average, you just can't do it. Skip that, but I'd probably rather go to Donaldson. Andy, what do you think about that? Donaldson over Suarez. You give up a couple of home runs, but you get a little bit of everything else.
Yeah, Donaldson was one of my best values, I think, at 220 ADP. It's just stupid right there. It's just a great value. I'd rather just pass on and let these guys spend the premium picks on these guys and just grab Donaldson.
Problem is Nick, right? He's in and out of the lineup quite often. I
had him in TGFBI last year. That was the issue. I mean, he was decent in the beginning, and then he just, like you just said, in and out, resting. Towards the end of the season too.
Right. So his ADP is 218. There's a little bit of a drop off after that. Some people are hyping up Yeimer Candelario quite a bit. I'm not a big guy on him. Andy, you're a big Candelario guy.
Yeah. I like his bat. I like it. He's not gonna kill you anywhere, but he's not gonna actually be great and win a category for you. But he's a solid guy. I mean, I had him a couple years ago, just in and out, but he's okay.
All right. Well, they're being drafted in the early 220s. Then there's a drop in tier, but I think that's not going to last long because this next guy, I think, is about to skyrocket upwards. Abraham Toro. Tell me about him, Andy? What's your opinion?
He's a top prospect for the Astros. Got traded to the Mariners. Got the spot wide open right there to jump in third base and play. He has a really nice bat. I think he has developing power and adding a couple stolen bases. He's definitely good average. I like him. He's got a nice little swing, and we've just picked up a couple of his shares this week too. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, he's being drafted around 260 right now. I think that's going to skyrocket. I think he'll actually go above the Suarez and Donaldson area by the time we get to opening day because of those stolen bases. It's
11 home runs and 6 stolen bases and 335 at bats.
Right, and he's eligible at 2 positions as well because he has second base eligibility and third base out of Houston. So he kind of fell into it with the Seager sort of surprise. I mean, he was a free agent, so I think that they traded for Toro knowing that Seager was going to be gone, not necessarily as a retirement, but as a free agent. And, here we are. And he's fallen into a great spot, and I kind of love it too. So that's a guy I will be invested in. All right, so let's go back to last year's TGFBI draft, and I ripped you hard for
come on, man,
your 5th round selection, and I was correct in one Cavan Biggio. I want to talk to you about Toronto and their infield and what you think is going on here. All right.
I think that obviously my team didn't do that well last year in the TGFBI. if I took Mondesi and
it was a GPP team. Yeah.
And it struck out. I still think, you made me take Biggio in a couple drafts this week, man. So, what do you see? Because his value is just because I put him on that list in my writing about you guys that are dead to me. but they're dead to me only at a certain point. Once it gets to a certain point, like, okay, now this guy's a lot of upside. He could turn it around. I still feel that way. So we were getting a really good deal on a good hitter that can turn it around. And he was 5th round pick last year, so he could still do this.
Right. If you're in a 12-team league, he's going in the bench rounds now. So hallelujah, write me up. I'll take it. Absolutely. I'll cut him if I was right, wrong, whichever that might be. So we're definitely buying into Kevon Biggio. But Andy, how do you see the Toronto infield stacking up? Because they lost Simeon. So Biggio, is he going back to second base? Is this guy Santiago Espinal going to be the third baseman over there? Is my guy Groshans maybe a midseason call-up, have a shot? How do you see this?
I don't see. I think your boy Groshans took a little bit of a step back too. So
He did.
I think possibility is they were talking about possibly Marino, their top hitting catcher, playing third base and getting them in the lineup. So I think that could move things around in there. But
do you think the bat carries at third base?
Absolutely. Bats everywhere. I'm high on him. I just traded for him in one of my big dynasty leagues too, and he's awesome. He's an elite player. He would have made his debut last year if he didn't get hurt. So I'm all over him this year. And you can't even forget the other guy. I mean, the other guy, Alejandro Kirk. He's another guy that we're going to talk about later. He's a huge hit tool. Just a short, fat guy that loves to hit bombs and has a hit tool 60. So I love it.
Right. Well, I mean, Toronto is also a team that could go in for Chris Bryant too. They're willing to spend. You think that's a possible landing spot?
Yeah, I mean, they're spending money. They have more money to spend as well. So they're looking to upgrade the stadium too. They're all in. So
all right. So Kevon Biggio at 275, at 283, you could have another guy who was hyped up but kind of fell flat on his face in Alec Boehm. What do you think about Alec Boehm this year, brother?
I don't think he's as good as he was 2 years ago, but I don't think he's as bad as he was last year. So I think
it sounds like a country song. I know.
I mean, you're a Philly fan. What do you see?
Well, here it is. The barrel rate was down last year, which is not good, but his hard hit rate was 49.5%, which is in the top 10 percentile of baseball. So there's definitely an element of poor luck, but the strikeouts are up. The walks are down. The selection is not there. He was pressing quite a bit. He did get sent down to the minors at one point. So there's definitely an element of pressing and trying hard to keep a job and get the service time and everything. I mean, in 2022, in a shortened season, he batted like 330, 340, 338, I think it was. Finished second for the rookie of the year. But last year, 400 plate appearances, I think. He batted like 245, 7 homers, 4 stolen bases. The answer is somewhere in the middle. This guy, he definitely has pop. Again, he hits the ball hard, 49.5% of the time, hard hit rate. He's going to get you 15 to 20 home runs, steal 5 to 10 bags. If he bats 250 for you in the bench rounds, I mean, how do you go wrong with this? There's talk of them, possibly trading him or trading Rhys Hoskins and moving Boehm across the diamond. That was his biggest problem, is he's a terrible defensive player. So he had that on his mind all the time. He was an error machine in an otherwise pretty good infield. So they have the flexibility to move some players around. My guy Kingery's a bust. So there's at-bats for him. There's an opportunity. The possibility of Chris Bryant coming over is still there. So this guy, he could end up being a 4th outfielder on the team, but I don't know, man. Most likely he's gonna be the starting third baseman.
Here's a question for you:
250 and give you something.
Does he have an option to DH? Will that make him be a better hitter if he's not focusing on the field?
We'll see if that's an option. How that turns out. So I got to think that once the CBA is signed, if there is a National League DH, the free agency is going to open up slightly differently than the way we saw it close. but yeah, he's definitely somebody that might benefit from
Maybe.
being able to sit down and think about the next at bat. So, all right. Anybody else you're looking at? That basically covers anybody that you'd be looking for in an FBC as a cornerman or a third baseman.
I got one
Any
more.
dart throws deeper down that you're looking at?
Yeah, one more. I know Nick
Okay.
will like this one. 5'11" ADP. Carter Kaboom.
Ooh, he's still alive.
Yes, he is.
He had a little bit of a solid month last year. He's struggling, but I feel he has a decent hit tool through the minors. I think that he can actually be okay. I mean, it's worth a shot. They're going to give him a shot to play third base every day. So we'll see what he can do.
Every day third baseman in best ball is the best you can ask for.
Yeah.
Bro, there's a definite fantasy buying opportunity in the Nationals. There's some players on that team that are going undrafted and bench rounds and everything that are going to be playing every day, 500 at bats.
That's all you can ask for.
Definite opportunity there. So we'll be digging into that quite a bit in the near future. All right, sliding across the diamond to first base. Vlad Guerrero's going in the first round pretty much everywhere. I actually saw him in a dynasty mock go 101, which I really can't argue too much against. Other than that, Freddie Freeman is still a free agent. Landing spot could make his ADP skyrocket up from 19 to the back of the
future Yankee.
Could be, yeah. I mean, if he went to the Yankees, his ADP would go into the first round.
The next two future Yankees.
Everyone who's listening, please disregard the guy over here. Everyone's buying the Yankees. I mean, the Mets are the team that buys everyone now. So
what was it like?
Disregard.
It was the I forgot what year it was, but Derek Jeter was in a free agency. He was talking about leaving and this and that. I feel like that's the same thing Freddie Freeman's doing. He's gonna go back to Atlanta. I think it's inevitable.
I don't know. Inevitable. They don't want to give him 6 years.
He's going back there.
Someone's gonna give him 6 years.
Someone's gonna give it to him. I think he's gonna get it from Atlanta.
The bottom line is that he got them a World Series championship.
Bingo.
They have one of the top 2 or 3 players in the game for the next 10 years at a $100 million discount in Acuna. So they got $100 million to piss away. They could throw it at Freeman.
He's your guy. He's your franchise right there.
Yeah, just say thank you to Acuna on your way to the
and
table.
Ozzy, don't forget Ozzy.
Yeah, they both took huge
Ozzy
discounts.
Got like $24 million or something like that.
Bro, I would have done the same thing. I mean, you give me a contract like that at 20 years old with COVID and all this and injuries, I'm signing it right away. I'll take the $100 million you give me. I ain't betting on myself. I've seen my results. I'm not betting on me.
I do the same thing.
All right, so Olsen and Goldschmidt, that's kind of it, and Alonso, that's pretty much, even probably Abreu, that's probably no man's land for me in first base. I'm not messing with that in the third, fourth round. These aren't guys that are really exciting me. And in the third round, you're probably, especially if you went to an infielder in some way, shape, or form in the first round, you probably went a pitcher in the second round. You're either looking for a pitcher or an outfielder in the third round. So I'm probably not in this tier much. Mountcastle, just not my guy. First guy that I really, really like at an ADP of 116. He was a hero for me last year. And in the 9th round, I'm all over Jared Walsh, man.
TGFBI hero.
Guy. Absolutely. I actually, I cracked the maximum on him in TGFBI. I was the last to draft him. It was something like 100 spots below ADP. And it was really just luck that I ended up with him. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dying over here.
All right.
So, but yeah, Walsh is my guy, man. I love him. You know, he came off an injury. There was a big slump that he had. He was actually in contention for the batting title going into the last 2 months, and then he went into a huge slump after a core muscle injury, and we still don't know where your core is. I think the guy does it all, and he's a great lineup.
Didn't him and Ohtani hit like a home run in each game? Like, I think it was, how many times? It was crazy.
Yep.
Like 10, 15 times. It was crazy.
Bro, I was staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning constantly to watch Ohtani and Walsh, man. It was a show without Trout.
Yeah.
And he's back.
Yep.
And he will be a value, I think. So, I would say, as Jeff's trying not to die real quick, I'm going to go over and talk about Joey Votto.
Joey Bats.
Ew.
Nick loved him last year, and he was a monster. I didn't think it was in it for him, and he's still cheap, 161 ADP. It's a great value, and in that little park, no problems. So, what do you think about that, Nick?
No, he was crushing last year. I forgot the exact number of games in a row he had a home run, but I was in on him years ago. You guys well know that. He's a value in that ballpark. Good ADP right now. I don't think he's going to move up too much from there. He could fall a little bit, but I think I'm in. Good lineup, good ballpark. Give it.
I'll probably have no shares just because he's 15 spots after Rhys Hoskins, and I usually set the high on Hoskins, and he's being drafted right around the same spot as Anthony Rizzo, who I'm pretty high on despite being teamless. But he's obviously going to have a job because he's got the National League to go to for MVP.
I actually believe that he might be a Yankee, but
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Right, but right at the same area. I mean, Votto's going 163, Rizzo's going 166, or you could wait one more round at 174.
My boy. AK-47, Alex Kirilloff. This is the year, guys. This is the year it's going to happen. I wrote about him in my article. He's one of my favorite players. His bat is amazing. All right, and this is the one thing I always was talking about in the article is, anyone who's played baseball know that when you get in a slump, the best way to get out of your slump is take the ball to the opposite field or go up the middle. And he hit like 12 hours, 14 home runs were to opposite fields. He uses all the fields, which will lack the strikeouts. He stays healthy. He's going to be playing first base now. His 174 ADP is a steal. It's going to go up, especially when he shows that he's healthy. And he is better than his teammate, Trevor Larnach. Yes, Jeff. Yes, he is. You will do. I actually said that AK-47 was going to outplay Votto, and I was wrong, and I admit that. But it ain't going to happen this year. Kirilloff is outplaying them all. All right, I'm done.
All right. I'm going to wait 60 spots and just take Bobby Dahlbeck instead. I'm in on this guy, 26 years old, 92 mile an hour exit velo is off the charts, to use one of Andy's favorite terms. 20% barrel rate was one of the tops in the league. 34% strikeout rate was one of the worst in the league. But who cares about strikeouts anymore as long as you're hitting the ball into the ocean, right? So this guy's going to be popping him over the monster for many, many years to come. 25 home runs, only 450 plate appearances. That's going to project out to over 35 with a full season. So, being drafted in the bench rounds, you can't do much worse than Bobby Dahlbeck. I think, Andy, you and I in a 15-teamer took him as our first baseman or cornerman on a team that we just punted the position totally. And it worked out well because it was the team we needed to improve our power on because we took Trey Turner in the first round.
I think that even if you wait even another round, you get Nick's guy, who I like even more, which is Nate Lowe. All right.
Yep.
He better batting average than Dahlbeck, less home runs, improved lineup. I think that he's going to have a big year. Now, the one thing that I want to, put a little caution to is he did have 8 stolen bases last year. He has a 40 speed. All right. In 5 years in the minors, he had 5 stolen bases total. So I'm not saying he's not going to steal, but don't expect 8 steals again. Especially with an improved lineup, and these guys are going to be playing. I don't think so. But.
The 4.3 speed is not there.
All right, guys. The 27th first baseman off the board is Spencer Torkelson. You remember last year we got burned with Andrew Vaughn. He was being drafted around this area. And then he ended up pretty much making the opening day roster, and we all skyrocketed on him. Juice. And he didn't even pay it off. He struggled.
He wasn't even getting the proper playing time in the beginning, too.
I mean, and this is a different level prospect. But do you think? I mean, it probably comes down to what the collective bargaining process dictates. But we see Torkelson day one. This is a huge boon right here, right?
20, 25, 30 homer bat right there.
Yep. Andy saying, "Nah, give me Nathan Lowe and keep it real."
Yeah, I would definitely take Nate Lowe. I don't know. I think Torkelson's got a lot of hype to him, and I think that when he moves up like that, I don't know, he could struggle a little bit. You know, Detroit's a big ballpark. You know, Torkelson's not a big guy. Yeah, you have to realize he's not big. He has a lot of power, but I don't know how it's going to develop. I don't expect him to be a big time superstar. And I actually think that Andrew Vaughn will outplay him this year.
Okay, then. All right, Andy. Let's go deep into the bench rounds now. Let's talk about round 30 and your boy Rowdy Tellez. Does he have an everyday job? Nick, is there anything that would be any more AMAC than a Keston Hiera and Rowdy Tellez platoon?
Oh my God.
Rowdy, and that's Andy's boy.
Left and right, man. There you go. Failing from both sides.
When has Tellez ever failed? That's what I would like to know. Honestly, you know, he if he's given more appearances, he will do it. I have a couple. You know, he had 11 home runs and 300 at bats last year. 8 home runs and 127 at bats the year before, and then he had 21 and 400 bats. Give me a break. You put him in that lineup, the big fat guy's gonna be bombing him. All right, they love big fat first basemen. All right, and he's their guy now. He's gonna be batting cleanup for his team.
Not bad at all.
He does struggle against lefties, but you know the guy's a hitter, man. I've been on him for years, and you know that. And I think that he's not sexy, but at round 30, it's sexy. Big sexy. There you go.
All right. So he's somebody that you want on your team if your first baseman is somebody like CJ Cron, right? Or Mountcastle or Hoskins, somebody that has some fail built into them that it may not work out. They may get injured. They just hit home runs. And, if they fail, maybe you have Tellez that you got for free. Tellez is probably going to be in a lot of fab articles the first couple of weeks, I would say, more than draft articles, but not bad, man.
The deeper leagues, grab them at the end.
Or you could just draft him and Hiera and pray, right?
One might pay off.
You get one player out of 2 spots.
Hey,
yeah,
not bad for that late.
Right. Darren Ruff was one of the best hitters in baseball last year. I don't think I am going to go on a repeat with that. I'm going to stay away from that one. Colin Moran's a guy that we always liked, but he's a free agent. So, Andy, any word on where he's going to sign, or just stash and pray?
No, I just he's waiver wire guy. I think you passed over one guy that I know you loved last year, and I want you to talk about him a little bit because I think he's slated to be batting, right in the middle of this lineup for the Guardians. Bobby Bradley.
It's just power, man. That's all. It's the same thing. It's very similar.
It's a cheaper Dahlbeck.
Yeah, he's a cheaper Dahlbeck. That's very well said. He's a guy that could rip it, and he went on like a 10-game streak where he hit like 6 home runs in 10 days, and he just carried my team for a little bit. But he's somebody that if you draft him into your regular lineup, it better be a 32-team league. He's bench fodder, and you pray that he gets hot and you put him in there when you need him, whatever. But he'll be in and out of the waiver wire all year long. All right, want to slide behind the plate now and talk about some catchers before we head out of here?
Absolutely, that's my favorite position.
Oh boy, I don't know about that. All right. So Andy, every year there's one catcher that's the de facto catcher number 1, and he gets drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round. It's usually Real Muto. This year now it's Sal Perez. You nailed it last year. He almost hit 50 home runs. He's actually on a Hall of Fame trajectory, to be honest with you at this point. Is he worth it in the 3rd round at this point?
He is too pricey for me. He's on my guys as someone I'm going to pass on and avoid. I don't like the it's too high. I mean, he almost had 50 home runs, like you said last year, and before that was 27 home runs. I mean, I just don't want to waste a prick on it. So, but
Yeah, I hear you.
Pat, I was getting him at values, and I had him on a lot of teams, and I was in dynasty leagues. I have him and stuff, but at ADP, 32? Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah, I mean, catcher is an absolute wasteland now.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be,
no, I don't think so.
yeah, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. If you want to be on the high end, it's got to be Real Muto or Will Smith. To be honest with you, you take him in the late 50s, early 60s, and that's it. If you want Sal Perez, you're basically going to be building from behind the whole team. That's my opinion on that. But after that, rounding out the catcher ones, you got Varsho, Grandal, Wilson Contreras, and then Andy's boy Tyler Stevenson is the 7th catcher being drafted right now. What do you think about that, Andy? You were in on him before he was the number 7 overall.
Yeah, when he was a backup, I was on him, and I've been on him since 2015 when I was buying his rookie cards. But that's my guy. I like his hit tool. I'm not sure how much his power will develop, but he's an on-base percentage guy. He's going to drive in a lot of runs, batting clean up in that lineup. He just plays really good defense. I mean, they got rid of a Gold Glove catcher to give this guy full-time at bats. So I think that I think that he is the guy there, and I think that he's going to improve a little bit. Right there between. I'm going back and forth with 2 guys I love. He's one of them, and the other one's Keibert Ruiz. I've been getting him all over the place now. I just think he has another level with the power, and his tools probably a little better than Stevenson as well. And with the Nationals, there we go again with the Nationals. A guy that's going in the 150s. You're going to get a really good catcher with a lot of upside. I'm definitely going those routes.
Listen, I dug into Ruiz a little bit more, watched some film after we drafted him in our dynasty startup the other day. I see a little bit of Victor Martinez.
Oh, God, I saw that too. Yes.
Yeah.
From the left side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a little bit there. I mean, I'm not saying this guy might be a perennial batting champion contender, but I think the bat sticks, and I think there's a chance he's going to end up moving to a DH or first base type situation, getting out from behind the plate eventually, because the bat's going to play for his whole career. What do you think about Rutschman, man? Where are we at with that? Because he's being drafted as a catcher 1, but there's a good chance you may not have him for the first 40, 50, 60 games.
Well, in those big leagues well, at the price we're getting him at, we're getting him as a second catcher. And I love that. He's he won't be up probably the first month, probably, if I had to guess. But definitely worth it. Take 5 months of a guy with that kind of ceiling. I'm in.
All right. He's being drafted. Where is it? 193rd. So just inside the top 200.
193. Yeah.
Yeah. Steamer's giving him 95 games, 15 home runs, 260. So that pretty much means a June 1st call up for the most part. I'll take that. I mean, 95 games, 15 homers, 260, and you get to replace him for the first 2 months. Why not? So you get 20 home runs from the spot. I'm in.
Yeah.
All right. Who else you looking at to fill out your catcher position? I know you want to talk about Toronto a little bit.
I mean, Toronto has Jansen, who's the defensive catcher that likes to hit home runs in bunches, but not do anything else. And Kirk is, like we talked about before, they're going to he's probably the DH. It's just a perfect role for him. They were actually talking about possibly trading one of these catchers too, because they have Marino come up as well. So I'm all in on Kirk getting it's like 240 ADP. So I'm love the bat. If he gets a chance, he's gonna give you a high average, lots of RBIs, a little power. I like it.
All right. You think he has a day one job? Am I keeping him for $1 in our home league? Or $5? It might be $5. That's too much.
I trade him to you. Yeah.
$5 is too much for anyone.
Oh God. Yeah, we'll be talking after the show maybe.
I'm out. No $5 for me.
We'll talk in February about that. We'll talk in February.
All right. You mentioned Tucker Barnhart earlier, that he moved on. He went to Detroit. Is that a moratorium on our guy Haas? My guy Haas. Haas was another one like Bradley that saved my season in TGFBI for a little while there last year. Or we just don't believe in Haas. Is he done?
I didn't like him when I had him. I still don't like him.
You didn't like him when you had him, and you still don't like him.
I had him. He was hitting home runs for me, but it's just ugly. To be honest, if I want ugly, I'll go back to a guy I like Zunino.
Yep.
That's some ugliness.
Well, Zunino, 33 homers, Haas 22.
Beautiful.
The price is significantly different, obviously. Oh, not really. 2 rounds. Wow, these Russian sex bots are spamming the hell out of our chat group, man. This is awesome.
I was going to say, what is that guy saying? I have no idea.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Nick's awake now. We got Russian sex bots. Oh, my on. All right. So anyone else at the catcher position that's really jumping out from an ADP, or is it just kind of you take who you get when
Nick got something. Is he
I'll go my homerism. I'm not a big fan at all, but I mean Gary Sanchez at that ADP is pretty
guys. Disregard
appealing.
The Yankee talk. We disregard.
Depends how much they play him, but
dude, he's going in round 23.
260 ADP for a starting catcher for the Yankees.
Right. I mean, there's something there. I mean, this guy's he's got 25 home run potential.
What was he last year, ADP? He was like a top 5 catcher ADP last year, right?
Yeah. Listen,
nothing's changed.
Early in the season like this, there's a lot of reactionary. That's why we're seeing Rendon and Bregman going in the 9th damn round right now. It's ridiculous how people overreact to what happened last year. What have you done for me lately, right? All right. Andy, what about Francisco Mejia? You closed the book on him yet, or
no, not yet. I need one more year. Obviously, I like his hit tool. I've always liked it. He has some nice little pop. I don't know how much he's going to actually play in Tampa, but he's a guy at the end, throw a dart. Hopefully, he can get a little hot and get some value.
All right, you've sold me a little bit on MJ Melendez.
Yeah.
Is he draftable as your second catcher right now?
I think so. He's going in the 400s. He was one of the rookies I was going to talk about at the end of the show, so I'll just talk about him right here. I don't add the value. He's a good value. I think that if he has a big spring, his ADP is going to jump, and then I'm going to be out. His hit tool is not that good. He strikes out. He's like a ugly Bobby Dahlback. He strikes out a lot, like 40%. He was at 40% 2 years ago, and then he came down and dropped and had this monster year that him and Nick Prado had in AAA in hitters parks all over the place. And I feel that they both played above their head. He had like 40 plus home runs. The GM already said that they're going to find a place for him, whether it's DH, third base. He played a little third base last year too. You could solve the problems to backing up Salvador Perez too. So I think that he has a chance to bring some value. And if you're going to get him now.
All right. So he's a dynasty stash and somebody to watch on the waiver wire for the most part is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
The bottom line is the NFBC is the NFBC, but for the most part, shouldn't we just be playing one catcher anymore? This is stupid. It's really dumb to be doing this. I don't know, man. This is like not playing Superflex in football to me. Playing 2 catcher leagues is just dumb. And both of our home leagues are 2 catcher. I think we need to change that.
I think we should change that.
It's terrible.
Add a flex.
Yeah, I'd much rather do that. I don't know. Let's be trailblazers here and let's invent the catcher premium league. All right. Tight end premium. Let's do catcher premium.
That's hilarious.
Every home run is multiplied by 1.5.
You know, my brain is going crazy right now with ideas.
South Perez going 1-1.
Travis Kelce over here.
All right. I got another flyer at catcher for everybody. Guy shockingly had 200 at bats last year, but Jonah Heim L'chaim in Texas. That actually made the throat feel pretty good. Not bad. He's a switch hitter, so that gives him a 1-up. That he's going to be on the field. He might be one of the best defensive catchers in the league. He's probably the top pitch framer in the entire league, which will be a moot point if they get robot umpires. But the guy can hit a little bit, 250 career hitter in the minors. He didn't even crack the Mendoza line last year, but he had 10 home runs in brief playing time. Crazy stat, though, with this guy. When he was batting 8th last year, which is the spot he batted the most in the lineup, he batted 293 with a 349 on base percentage and an 884 OPS, right? So I'm like, ooh, if he bats 8th, he's going to be a stud. I look at roster resource. Yeah, they project him to bat 7th. So he'll be back down to 195, whatever. But yeah, this is a guy I want to get as, these draft champions where you have to get 3 or 4 catchers. I'm taking him as my 3rd. He projects to be a starter. He's a flyer. I just wanted to go on paper saying his name out loud just in case.
It felt good too.
Just in case it pops off, and then I can say that I said it on January 6th. Right.
Don't forget Sam Huff though. He's
yeah. I mean that's definitely the future. I'm not buying this guy in dynasty leagues or anything like that. This is more for draft and holds.
All right. I got one more rookie to talk about real quick. That's going to help some people this year in 2022, and it all depends on what happens after free agency part 2. Okay, we have if Carlos Correa doesn't sign with the Astros, Jeremy Pena is going to be given that job. All right, this guy is a monster. He's the best defensive player in the system. He's a power speed guy. He's developing his power. He's on like Instagram now. He's like shredded. He looks like, he took like juice. I don't know, but he's not on juice. But he's shredded for a kid, and he had 10 home runs and had a big power output this year. And they love him. And I think they're gonna get his bat in the lineup, and he's gonna be a really, really good value. He's getting picked 593. Get him now. All right, Nick, anything to say about that? Because Jeff's dying over there.
No.
All right, so
I'm
next
with you right now. Best ball time.
All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to go to, towards the end of the show, I'd like to bring in a guy that helped us in the fantasies world when we were younger, and it's a little throwback. And I'm going to give you guys some clues, and let's see if you can get them. You ready? My throwback, played 20 seasons, 6-time All-Star, catcher. 1997, best year, bat 324, 21 homers, 83 RBIs. He won Rookie of the Year. Anybody?
I know the answer.
Yeah.
I know the answer.
Go ahead.
Wasn't even the best player with in his family.
Oh, God, you got it. And he was traded for Joe Carter. Sandy Alomar.
F that guy.
I know that. I had to bring that up because you brought up Mondesi and Biggio. So,
all right, I deserve
it. So Sandy Alomar Jr. loved him. So,
that was back when catchers were horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, we think they're horrible now. They were horrible back then.
But just think about this: when in the late '80s, the Padres had Alomar Jr. and Benito Santiago. And I used to try to throw off my knees just like Benito Santiago, too. I loved him. He was like my freaking idol growing up. So, yeah.
There you
go.
I'm trying to use the mute button, and she's telling me to take vitamin C. I got him.
She can probably hear you.
At least she's watching. All right. Anything else we want to talk about before we get the hell out of here?
No, I'm good.
And you working on anything? It's baseball season. It's your time.
Yeah. Well, my first article just came out last week. My second one, I'm doing part 2 with the pitchers coming out in the next week or so. And I'm just gonna be hammering out best balls, doing some more dynasties. I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm not gonna admit to how many leagues I'm doing, just in case somebody upstairs is listening. But I'm gonna be a little crazy. So, Nick, what about you? You got anything going on?
No, nothing. I get the dynasty itch right now, so I'm listening to podcasts on the way to work. I'm reading articles at work now when I can, and I'm getting back into it. Football is gone.
Thank God.
Wow.
Wow. I'm gonna watch Sunday, obviously, but then that's it. I'm done.
Well, we'll get back in about a month.
Yeah, give or take, free agency.
Yeah, a little bit at least. You got to cover the draft and then rookie drafts.
Yeah, the actual NFL. I have a mock draft top 10 right now, but it's fluid. The draft order's not finalized, nothing like that yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll put that out next week then.
I will admit this on the air. I liked what I saw with Zach last week. I like it.
He's gotten better.
I see the progress.
He's in a good system. I like what I see. We're getting there.
All right. That's all I'll say about that.
Thank you, Forrest. All right, guys, let's get the hell out of here. I got to go resuscitate myself. Thanks for your patience with my coughing. I found the mute button at the end there, so that was helpful. But in the meantime, he's Trader Andy at AMAC22NJ. This guy, the first guy on Twitter at NMimi. I'm at JTrella20. This has been the Stack Attack Fantasy Podcast. Trevor, thanks for all you do. Take us on out of here. Peace, guys.